To begin this video, an excerpt from some writing that spoke out to me. Go without a coat when it's cold. Find out what cold is. Go hungry. Keep your existence lean. Wear away the fat. Get down to the lean tissue and see what it's all about. The only time you define your character is when you go without. In times of hardship, you find out what you're made of and what you're capable of. If you're never tested, you'll never define your character.
Alright guys, how you guys doing today? Hopefully you guys are doing pretty good. Like some of you guys, as you guys know, you guys probably aren't doing that well. But for you guys, keep going, man. Keep your heads up. Today, I want to talk about routines, or the mental battle you guys are going to have to start facing. Especially when you not in a good place, your mind's kind of not all there. You don't know what you want to do with your life, and at least where you're at right now in your life and the conditions aren't doing a whole lot, so you don't know how to get out of it. You feel stuck. The mental battle that you guys are going to have to overcome is the first thing you guys are going to have to deal with. It's not about you getting up and going to work for the money. It's not you getting up and going to the gym and working out to actually change yourself, whatever your problem is. It's about first accepting where you are right now. I look how I look. I'm as poor as I am. I'm at where I'm at. Accept it. First, that's the first thing you gotta do. Accept that's where I'm at. Tell yourself those hard truths. Because you're gonna get times where you're gonna have ups and downs, where you're really when you're up and you're doing really good and fighting the battle, and then going to the gym, going to work, dealing with it, that's gonna be easy. Because you feel like you're doing what you need to be doing. But the days when you're on your lows and you're not doing too good, and you say, I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't got it in me. I've been going for 2 months and I'm done. I can't do it no more. It's about facing that battle, the mental battle. Let me tell you guys, when I was in a bad place, it really could happen because I got into my first car accident. When I was younger, I always felt like I didn't have enough time, so I had to work ahead. I mean, right out of high school, I went to college. I took a summer class for college. It was because I had to improve my math score to go to the college level, but it was a college math class, so it definitely gave me a better transition into it. But I didn't have a summer break where I was like, oh, I did nothing. Or some people who take a whole year off of school before they go back to college. Like, I was like, that's a waste of time. I want to get ahead. So I did that, started fall semester, first semester of college, but I've been going, and I had been working. Some of you guys may not know this, but when I was in the middle of my associates, well, prior to going to college, my parents told me that they really want me to go to college. They really want me to succeed. And they told me, look, we don't want you to work. Don't worry about food. We'll help you the best we can financially. I just want you to go to school. And I told them, like, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I think I'm still gonna keep a part-time job because I feel like I could manage, but if it's too much, I'll take it off because I'll make sure school's my priority. And halfway into college, they pulled out. I don't know if it's because they thought I was taking too long, but they didn't even let me finish getting my associates before they stopped helping me. And by helping me financially, guys, like, they didn't really give me a lot of money. Well, don't think they gave me money all the time. I still managed a part-time job and I still worked for myself, but they weren't, it was mostly the food, just being able to come back from class and be like, oh, okay, cool, I got a meal, let me eat this. And then, you know, I'd work out and then whatever. I'd pay for my other stuff like protein powder, like pizza, fried chicken, whatever little snacks I wanted to get, just little stuff like that. But it was mostly the main dinner that I was surviving off every day. They pulled out with that. They didn't want to feed me. And I don't know. I don't know why they did it. That didn't do too well for me. But that's not getting a little off topic. I was already building income, trying to get self-sufficient. I had money put aside, and they threw me into the wolves with trying to fend for myself. I'm going to college. I have a part-time job. How do I feed myself? I've never done it. Let me just try to find stuff. At least I was working out, so I had ideas of what nutritionally and I could get, and just finding some diets that could work for me. But cooking was not all that. It was really shitty ass cooking, and I was still having a terrible diet, just eating out a lot. And it was towards the end of my college, when I graduated, I had started working full time. And I started building money. I was already building money for an emergency fund, but I built more. And I think I had about 6 to 8K. I was 21. It was the year when I turned 21. And I had about 6 to 8K that fall. I was still 21, fall. And what happened is that I got in a car accident. And it was just bad circumstances. You know, technically the insurance faulted me, but I personally, I can't blame myself. A lot of circumstances just didn't align for me. The night before, I work about an hour away, and that night when I got back home it was a Thursday. I got on a Thursday, so I work a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So that Thursday I came back home from work, and I had been home for like about an hour, and then I got home at 6:30. Been home for about an hour, so it's like closer to 8 p.m., closer to 9 maybe. Whatever, it was late. My mom tells me, "Hey, your headlight's out. Did you know that?" "Yeah, I saw it when you came in. I forgot to tell you, but it's out." I'm like, fuck. Well, Home Depot and anywhere I can get a headlight, they're all closed. Everywhere's closed. I'm like, fuck, I can't do it tomorrow morning because I gotta wake up at 5 a.m., leave to go to work to get there at time at 7. It's like, I wake up at 5, leave at 6. I can't make it. There's no time. They're not open. So I was like, I guess I'll have to do it when I come back. And crazy enough, that morning, when I was going to work, fog. Thick fog. And it's also, at that time when I leave around 6 a.m., it was fog. There was tons of fog that I couldn't see more than 3 feet ahead of me. And at this time, when I went the route that I would take at work, it's rural roads, so there's barely anybody there, and there's no street lights. Let me explain. There's this long segment that's about 13 miles, and just cornfields. There's nothing, and there's really no headlights, and if they are there, they're not well kept. And unfortunately, especially since my headlight is off on the right side, I didn't really see too many of the signs that were coming my way. But I took this road all the time, and it's usually empty, and I know it pretty well, or so I thought, because while I'm going around 60, it's 55 miles per hour. While I'm going 60, there's just one intersection that's not with stoplights. It's a stop sign, and the stop signs didn't even have like the little red LED on top of it blinking. They didn't have that. And with this thick fog and going 60, I couldn't stop in time. I didn't see it in time to stop. Luckily, while I slammed on the brakes and another car was already there, by the time I was going 60, it was already there and stopped. He wasn't going fast. He was just barely moving up. And while I was stopping and trying to maneuver, I couldn't really go off the side of the road, much not like you're even supposed to, because there's too many ditches. So I just slowed down as best as I could and just maneuvered my car slightly to the right to kind of avoid just directly hitting him. Guy didn't see me. Or he assumed that I was gonna stop. I don't know. But he kept going, and by the time my car was barely bracing for impact, and by the time he barely saw me, the right side of his car hit directly like my left tire. My left tire completely destroyed. Luckily, I got out, asked him, "Are you okay?" Because I was okay. And I asked him if he was okay, older guy. He was. But just through the process, technically it's my fault, but I couldn't have predicted the fog. I couldn't have prepared for that. I couldn't have expected that the road that I was on every day, I go take every day to work, would not be prepared for those conditions. You know, when it's snowing, I try to hold myself accountable and go slow and make sure I'm good. But fog, I mean, I guess I just took it lightly because it's just fog. If only I had just taken a different route, who knows what could have happened. But that's stuff that, you know, I don't carry to myself. I don't hold it against me. I handled it, took it like a man, understood. But really got me, that wasn't even what I was prepared. I had money put aside to help me get on top, you know, in case anything happens. I had insurance. I was prepared. But you can only prepare for so much. And unfortunately, when I went to get my car, I was 19 when I had my car. The dealership didn't tell me. My parents didn't tell me. I had insurance, so I thought I was covered, but like some of you guys who've been in accidents know, gap insurance, that's what got me. I didn't even know about that. I didn't even know it existed. I was 19. I just hadn't experienced enough. I hadn't learned enough, I suppose. I thought insurance, when I got it, I was covered completely, but it's not. It didn't cover the rest of my car and whatever outstanding balance that I had. And so I had just about $6,000. The bank, when I went to go to, well, first I tried to use the $6,000 to go get myself a used car, but there was nothing available. No one was selling anything within that range, especially not something I could take to work. Some, like, people who were selling stuff for $6,000 were really beat up and just not reliable. There were tons of repairs needed, and I'm not that savvy with that, with car repairs, so I couldn't really mess around with that. Not even like I had the time to do it. Even especially after dumping the money, I won't have the money to fix it anyways. So that wasn't an option. I had to go to a dealership. And so I tried looking around for a car that's just within, I could make a down payment and get it going. And I eventually got another car just like the car I had. Not like I was really wanting it. It was just the car was good for mileage and the price was fair. As fair as it could be for a dealership. But the thing here, I only tried to give them some amount because I still had the outstanding balance of the gap insurance, which was about $6,000. Now, I believe this happened around November, the beginning of November. And beginning of November. And I had to, by February, the middle of February, to pay off $6,000. And so I tried to keep some of my money that I had stored away just so I could put maybe half into a car payment and half into the outstanding balance, so I could just slash the amount of how much I have to pay in 3 months. I go to the dealership. Banks don't approve me for another loan because I still have that outstanding balance. So they said, hey, maybe you just gotta put more. So I put $4,500. Still $1,500 away. No, that's not enough. They don't approve you. Okay, let me see if I can get a cosign. I tried to get my parents, my brother. I tried my brother. Banks wouldn't do it. I tried my mother. I had to basically beg my mother to do it. And when she finally agreed, banks still told me no. Not enough money down. But they said they'll knock off if I just put in another 1,000 or another 1,500 or so. They'll knock it off. They'll be able to approve it from there. So I had to fork over all that, and I was left with nothing. I got the car, but I still have to pay $6,000 in 3 months, or else that's gonna destroy my credit. I did what I had to do. I luckily had a job that gave me solid hours, and they let me work overtime. I was working 60 hours here, and I had to do it. Sometimes you just gotta take the punch, and you just gotta look at the situation and be like, look, I don't like it, and I did my best to prepare for this, but I gotta do what I gotta do. It's just how the circumstances are. So I picked up every shift, even though I didn't like it. And it was also about this time, I was only, that fall, or that spring, I was supposed to go to school. Because I had graduated my associates that, not fall, but that previous spring. So I was like, I'm gonna take the rest of the year off, gather some money, go back to school in that following spring. But because of the car accident and all my money was gone, I have to just work to get myself back in solid footing. My parents knew that. And at this time, they hadn't been charging me rent. Thank God. But they knew about my accident. They knew how my savings were gone. And during the middle, like in January, that they started telling me, why am I not going to school? Why aren't you going to school, Chris? I told them, I'm still working. I'm going through my accident. And I'm trying to finish paying off that so I can get some money to actually go to school. Because I still got to pull out if I was going to go to school, I still had to manage to get a student loan. So I couldn't, I couldn't just go to school. Like, I have things to do. I have things to pay. I'm not in a good situation. And they said, well, that sucks, but we're gonna need you to start paying rent then, because if you're not going to school, then we can't let you just live here. And I'm like, I am going to school. Please, I'm going to school. I just have to take some time to get myself in solid footing. And right now I'm using everything I'm using every paycheck. I'm getting nothing from my paycheck. Everything's going to bills. I have a new car payment, and I have that old what was it called? That old car that I just totaled to pay off. On top of that, I don't think I went into due detail about this, but I'll make this quick. I had a back injury back when I was in high school. I unfortunately hurt it when I was training, and it wasn't nothing severe, but it was just not like I needed surgery, but it was just my muscles basically tightened up because they overstretched, and it was on my low back, a place you never want to get hurt. And that injury, I never got it treated because I went to my mother to ask her to help me set up a doctor's appointment because I was 17. I had never done that. I don't even know if I had health insurance. And I would just tell her how my back hurts and I needed to go to the doctor. And she would just tell me, go to the doctor then. Come on, just go set up the appointment. And I was like, I've never done it. I don't know. I need help. Okay, just call. Just call. Hurry up. What are you talking about? Just call them. What are you talking to me, complaining to me about? I was just like, well, I don't know how to do it. Just call. And I'd call them, and well, I told them, well, maybe I told my mother if I had even health insurance. She's like, no, you don't have health insurance. None of us do. And during high school, I was at McDonald's. I wasn't able to I had to stop working at McDonald's because I just couldn't stand anymore. I couldn't stand for more than 10 minutes. I couldn't sit for more than 5. And I kept moving around uncomfortable. It was really bad. And I tried going to the doctor. I tried getting help. I just wasn't in a good situation, so I just kept toughing it out. I just had to tough it out. And I had that injury for about 2 years until I got my job now. And that at the facility I work at, where they gave me health insurance. Well, let me take a step back. I had to take out a credit card. You get a credit card to get the health that I needed first, because I was not approved for full-time at my facility. So I didn't have the health insurance yet, but I needed the help because I couldn't just lift trucks. I couldn't just work without fixing my back. I was toughing it out for a while, and I couldn't do that for the long term. Eventually, I got chiropractic help, which I highly recommend. Before you get any surgery done, talk to a chiropractor, a good chiropractor, because you want to do the less invasive things first before they do a surgery on you. And I had gotten better. And once I got full time, I got that insurance, so my chiropractor care got covered through that, and I was good. But I still had that debt. I still had that debt to deal with, and so now when I was in this accident, I had to finish making those payments on that, and my food was like $30 a week. I remember exactly what I ate. I'd get a bag of rice, and that would last me like a month. And then I'd buy every week breaded pork because it was the cheapest meat that the Cermak would have. The Mexican butchery, they had the cheapest meat. It was like $3.99 a pound. So I'd buy like 3 or 4 pounds of breaded pork every week, and I'd eat that. I'd eat like 3 or 4 pieces every day for lunch, and then I'd get, maybe if it was a good week and I had a little extra, because $30 for that amount of meat was pretty much everything. So if I was a good week, maybe I can get myself like a few energy drinks to get me going, or just a bag of chips so the food wasn't so bland. Oh yeah, and a bottle of hot sauce, and that was it. That was my whole week. And $30 every week, that's what it was. I was cutting corners everywhere. I was really thin, and I was still trying to train. And that was the best I could manage. And my parents are asking me for rent, and I just couldn't. I tried telling them I just didn't have anywhere else to give it to them. And if I start trying to give money to you, I have to take it out of the credit cards I'm trying to pay, the old car payment, my new car payment, and it's just gonna slow down everything. They didn't care. They didn't care. So I had to fork over rent money. Even though I'm already working max times, I can't. Like, there's a point in the amount of hours at 60, it's technically 59 hours. Because by the time you hit 55 or 58, they send you home. Because they don't want you to work that you can't work a certain amount of hours. So they just send you home. And I was maxing that out every week for like 3 months. And now I have to just slow down to help, because they didn't want to help me. Now, I know they had their own situation. They made a few financial mistakes, which is their business, but I knew what it was, and they made a simple mistake, very simple, but it cost them heavily. And they didn't want to admit it. They never admitted it, but they just made it my problem now. They made it my problem. So I had to deal with that. And you don't know, when you're in that point where your parents don't help you, your circumstances are just bad, you're alone, you don't have real true friends, you don't have someone by your side, at least a girlfriend to help you, a significant other to just keep you going, something to look forward to. I remember when I would wake up, for the first 3 seconds of my day, I'd feel, at least when I still was in that, I could recognize my dream before I wake up. I'm still like, I'm barely waking up. I remember I was really happy there. But then when you realize your situation in my life again, it hits me with a deep depression and that my life again. And I remember right before I go to bed and fall asleep, and I'm just thinking about my life and my situations, how angry I am that after my body's beat up and I'm so tired, and that I have to go to bed and get these 8 to 9 hours of sleep, or else I'll be too tired for tomorrow. And then you realize, man, tomorrow's only Tuesday. I still got 4 more days of this. It just hurts. It hurts. And it weighs on you. And you just get thoughts that you don't want to continue. So, what do? You do things to keep your mind occupied. If you let those, personally, in my mind, they're whispers of the void, demons, you could say, just trying to get you down. I'd pray, but these beasts want you to go down. And you want to keep your mind occupied, your body occupied. That's why I'd have a routine. I would wake up, have a 15-minute routine. I believe I would do 2 sets of tiger push-ups, 2 sets of V-tucks. I'd run in place for 2 minutes. And then I'd do that right in the beginning of the day. Before I prayed, well, after I prayed. And the moment I'd wake up and I'd start remembering how sad my life is, I'd get up and move to keep my body occupied. I try just not to think about it. Then I get up, get dressed, get ready, drive to work, put in those videos I listen to, music maybe, just something to get my day going. And just to keep my mind busy. Get to work, say my hellos, get in the truck, I'm alone again. I put on those videos to keep my mind occupied, to stay busy, so I don't have to worry. I don't have to keep dwelling in the fact of my situation. And then after work, go home, before I go to bed, have a routine, have a workout or do my night routine, whichever I had. I'd even take maybe half an hour or an hour or so just sitting on the couch. I'd lose my mind sometimes, not literally, but I'd sit down to take off my shoes and then my mind would just wander, mostly just reminiscing on the fact of where my life was. And I'd have to catch myself and I was like, I got stuff to do. I gotta go do something other than just sit in my head, because I could sit in my head for hours. So I went ahead, got back to doing my thing. Just work out, do my routine, pray before I went to bed, and fall asleep. If I didn't do those routines, the whispers would have got to me, and I wouldn't be here right now. I remember, and you get to a really dark place. I remember through all that. I remember sometimes the things that would just get me was a lot of the smallest things that my parents just didn't need to do. I remember I'd get home and they'd ask me, how am I doing? I'm like, not too good, but not like I'm in a petty way, but just, at first I wouldn't even tell them how I was doing because I didn't want to bother them with how I really felt. But when they would really try to pry it out from me, I would actually tell them, well, to be honest, I'm not doing too good. And they'd ask why. And it says, because I'm hungry. I don't have anything to eat. And then my dad would say, oh, okay, go ahead and, we bought some pizza. Go ahead and get some slices. And I was like, oh, thank you. And I get a plate and I start putting a few slices on. And my mom just says, oh, now there you are. Now look at him grab everything. Just some petty remarks. She doesn't want me to get it. She would make that very clear that she didn't want to share. And no matter how hungry I was, I didn't like the disrespect. I didn't just take food and accept the disrespect. I put the food back if she would ever do that, and she did that very often. Because I'd rather have respect than deal with it while I'm hungry. I'd survive without it. It would have helped that she would have wanted to feed me or help me when I really needed it. They saw how skinny it was. They made remarks telling me, why you look like you lost a lot of weight. Why? Why, they would always say, when I would tell them all the time. I don't know if they were just doing it to bother me, but I know there were people who had just trauma in their own. And that mental battle will get to you guys. You guys won't really want to keep going. Taking the easy route would be a lot easier now. That's not worth it. It's not worth it, guys. And looking back at it now, I'm glad it happened. It showed me a lot of how the people close to me would react when I really needed help, when I was down. It's different when they say things when you're doing good, what they'll do for you when you're down, to when you're actually down, to what they actually do. And I'm glad I got that perspective now. But also, I asked for it. I became a better person out of it. During my mindset during all of it, during the whole situation, I didn't understand why I was going through it. I remember times I would pray to God and tell him, I just wonder why. I know times we go through challenges for something, to get better, to become better, but I never understood why. Why did I go through this? And I don't know what I'm gonna get out of it. If anything. If it was just a learning experience or what. I didn't understand. And I just prayed that I hope it's not all for nothing. Thank you, God. And let me go to sleep. Have a good night. Every night. Nights and nights. Week after week. You just don't know. Until I actually got with my girlfriend because of it. Because I wouldn't have met with her and been at a point where I could have actually have been ready for that relationship if I wasn't going through the circumstances that I had. Because I was actually about to go homeless because too many times, like when I was just late on the rent, or I still hadn't made a payment yet because I was just not making enough. Because I'm not gonna get into all that, but my parents would just basically just tell me time and time again that they were gonna kick me out. And it was like, I was so fed up that I started planning on what if they actually did. And I had to just, I would have just slept in my car, and slept in the warehouse parking lot. Since it was an hour away, I was just like, I guess I could just save a little on gas and just live there at the parking lot. I know there was a gas station, a trucker gas station across the street, so I figured, oh, that's where I could take my showers and get ready for the day. And I'll be right there so I can clock in early, whatever. And they told me multiple times that year they were gonna kick me out. They'd yell at me and tell me they were gonna call the cops. And at points, like, I just told them, just do it. Stop like messing with my mind that you're gonna do it and you don't, or you're threatening me to do this. I'm like, I'm trying. Please understand that I'm not in a good situation and that I'm trying. I'm not just trying to take advantage. They'd say stuff like that I'm just taking advantage of them. You think that's like how it is in the real world? No, the banks don't care. They'll stop trying to take advantage of us. You fucking freeloader. I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to get better so I can help, but it's just, they didn't want to listen. They just kept, it was like they loved projecting and putting me down. It was their way of projecting their emotions back to me. And I can't believe my parents did that. And during that time, borderline going homeless, my own girlfriend, she had been going through circumstances where she was gonna become homeless too, but none of us would say it to each other. Until a few weeks, she kind of hinted that she was getting kicked out, and she would never, I would always ask her, so what are you gonna do next? And she would be like, I'll figure it out. And by the time that was this, like 2 days before she's actually gonna have to leave that place, I asked her, do you even have a place to go? And she admitted to me that she didn't. And I asked her, what are you gonna do? And she said, I don't know. Now, she didn't say it. I had to really pry this out of her. So I knew she wasn't just trying to like guilt me into just moving in with me. But I told her, look, you can come with me. We could stay at my parents'. They're gonna probably kick me out too anytime, but till then, you could stay with me. And even if we were gonna go homeless, like, we're gonna be homeless together. We bonded over that. Because she wasn't in a good place. Her parents weren't in the picture. So she was with her and a friend who was just taking advantage of her and about to put her on the streets for who knows why. It was Well, I know why, but just I will not say, but it was not her fault. It wasn't her fault for why. And eventually I got her a job with my facility. Both started working together, and my parents, they reluctantly let us stay because they just saw, I guess, another person to help out. And then we started eventually, because she started working, because it took her a week or a few weeks, but then she eventually started working at my facility, and then she started getting money, so it started helping me, and started helping so I could actually afford to just give my parents rent. And then it smoothed out from there. But it didn't help that my parents didn't give me mercy. Those routines, guys, that's what's gonna keep you in the game. It's a battle. Every day it's a battle. Because at the end of every day, you don't see anything change. You did all that and nothing's changed. But you gotta have hope and persevere through those. It took me 3 months. It took me 3 months of dealing with that before I finally got turned around. And it happened at the perfect time, because right then and there, that same few weeks after I moved in with my girlfriend, moved in with me and started getting her job, they cut off overtime at my facility. It was just that time of the year. Just cut it off. So if I hadn't got my girlfriend at that time of the year, if she hadn't gotten the job, I would not have been able to, I probably I would be homeless. And personally, that's my view that was my belief on God, or you could say the universe brought my girlfriend to me at the right time, the perfect time. That was about a year ago. We're still together, doing good. My life's a lot better. It gets better, guys, but it's a battle. You're not gonna win every battle, but you're gonna have to try to come out on top on the war. You gotta be ready. It's not about luck. Luck really only, I forgot who said it, but luck only happens. What people call luck is what they call someone who was prepared and they met opportunity. They had the right opportunity and they were prepared for it. I think it was Robert Greene who was talking about where he was in his life when he was able to get an offer to write a book, and that's where he wrote the 48 Laws of Power. And he said that if the guy who his friend asked him to write that book when he was 23, Robert Greene wouldn't have been able to do it. But he said he found him when he was around, I think, his 40s. And he said after all he had been through, or I think it was in his 30s, after all he had been through, it was all this energy bottled up within him that led him be able now to project it onto this book. And that it happened at the right time, the perfect time. Now those are things you guys could always overlook. And just not understanding patience. You gotta be patient. You gotta be patient but ready. And if you feel like your life's down, it's just a battle, guys. You gotta be ready. You're in war. It's not time for you to be comfortable. It's not time for you guys to put your little tail between your legs and not be ready to fight. There's a lot of times when war comes, you don't want to fight. You don't want war, you want peace. But when war comes to your home, you don't have that choice. You have to put up, stand up, and fight. I didn't want that car accident to happen to me right then and there. I didn't want that. But when it came and the circumstances needed me to stand up and work, that's what I did. I worked, and I worked hard. And my mind, as much as it hurt, and it was taking a toll on me, I tried my best to keep it level-headed. A lot of times I stayed alone because I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk to people because I didn't feel I was in the right state of mind. And I never wanted to project those feelings that I had onto other people. And there were close times, very close times, that I was projecting it. For example, I remember this one day, it was just Thursday, so I had one more day or 2 more days to work, and I'm just done. Too tired, beat up, and this whole day they sent me to this one department that I hate. I'm out of the trucks, but I'm in this other department where I hate. And this one manager, I didn't like it there because this manager, I don't know what I did to him, but he never liked me. And I remember when he would pick on me for nothing. I'd go to the bathroom, and I remember that day I went to the bathroom 3 times. It's like 3:30, so it's already been 8 hours, and I went to the bathroom, and it's my 3rd time going to the bathroom. Or, well, it was the 4th time going to the bathroom, but in 8 hours. And I'm not gone for like longer than 10 minutes. And then I come back, and he tells me, "Chris, why are you always going to the bathroom? What the hell? Like, you've been to the bathroom like 10 times today, and I'm gonna have to give you a write-up." I'm like, first off, this is only the 4th time I've been to the bathroom. And he's like, "Oh yeah, really? Really? So if I check the cameras, that's what it's gonna say?" I'm like, "You can go do whatever you want. I've only been there 4 times." He's like, "I don't care. I need to see your badge." I'm like, "I'm not giving you my badge. You're not giving me a write-up for nothing." Because he just wants to write me up to get me in trouble. And I'm not going to do it. And especially, I'm not in the right point right now. I'm not in the right state of mind for you to try to push me around. I'm at a point where my life and my mind are just telling me to give up and telling me, or no, keep going. Any little way, I'm not. Don't push me, because you'll push me, I'm going to go right off, and I'm going to fall, and I'm not going to turn back. I'm not going to go back. And he's over here pushing me. I'm telling him I'm not going to give you my badge. And he says, "No, you're going to give me your badge right now." That's him trying to push me, like bully me. I remember at that moment, I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad or I didn't feel anything. I lost the frustration. I was empty. My mind, I just stared at him like he wasn't my manager anymore. I looked at him who he was, like he was just another man in front of me, because I knew in my mind how I was about to hurt him and how I was about to attack him. Because I didn't care. Send me to jail. I don't care. Better than what I'm doing right now. Better than dealing with your shit right now. And I remember my demeanor changed right at that second when he said that to me. And so did his, because the way I looked at him, I don't know, it just freaked him out. Because all the fear, the strength he had to say that to me left. It instantly left. He didn't feel as powerful anymore, because he felt that this wasn't now him talking to another associate. And I'm not in that state of mind. I remember my eyes, I wasn't sad, but my eyes started trying to tear up a bit. And the last thing I just remembered being able to tell you out of my mouth was just, his name was Yoru. I said, "Yoru, please. Don't make me do this." And I looked at him so blankly, so empty, that he just told me, "Chris, please." And he looked at me like as if he was asking for mercy. Like he knew. He got scared. And I remember at that moment, I just, I'm not giving you my badge. I'm gonna go take a walk. And that's it. And I left. I went to just take a walk around the building, and he walked away. No call to HR, no nothing. and nothing happened. He didn't take my badge. I didn't get a write-up. Not to say that that was the best course of action, but I wasn't in the right mental state to be dealing with him. And you guys just got to do your best to control yourselves. I was very much getting tested right then and there, but I didn't want to project any of those feelings onto him. But he was pushing something that he shouldn't have. He was overstepping his grounds and just being a bully. But when it really came down to having to put your bite up, put your dog in the fight, he wasn't ready for that. A lot of bullies are like that. Just give them a little bit of power, they act like a tough guy. But when it really means to be a tough guy, they're not ready. Not to say I'm trying to be tough, but I wasn't in the right state of mind. Wasn't there. I'm glad I didn't go through with any of that violence. Keep your routines, guys. Start them. Mine, I calculated every second, every minute of my day, I had something to do. So whenever I fell home and just didn't know what to do, I look back and be like, oh yeah, I could do. That's what I gotta do. Okay, let me go back and do that. There is work to be done. Because if you let time for yourself to do anything, your mind will eat you alive. Even your sleep, guys. They say 8 hours of sleep are good, but if you're training, bump that up to 8 to 9. And if you're training hardcore on your days off, you better be getting 10 to 12 hours of sleep. I was training like 6 days of the week, and every day on the weekends I'd sleep for 12 hours, 13 if I was able to. And it wasn't that I was forcing myself to go to bed, I was just that tired that I just let myself sleep in. Take care of you guys. Take care of yourself, guys. But like always, this is Von Kai. Keep your heads up, guys. You guys are gonna be okay. Keep your dog in the fight. Don't let the whispers of the demons get to you. Stand above them. They want to see you down. They want to see you take the course of action that you feel so much, that you believe it'd give you so much joy. They want you to do that. Don't do that, guys. You can't let them win. You were destined for far more than that. This is Von Kai, guys. You guys have a good one.
The many lonely nights that were before me wouldn't be lonely anymore. There would be no need to reach down inside myself in the darkness, seeking strength, fighting back the tears of loneliness and despair, as I told myself that a man didn't cry. Thank you for listening.